Hello, and welcome back on Microsoft Ignite. In the last couple of months, healthcare's infrastructure around the world have gone through a lot of pressures. But apart from the incoming patients, we also witness an increase in cyber attacks for medical devices, IoT, and clinical assets. To discuss this topic, let me introduce you to Joey and David. Hi, team. How are you doing?
Fantastic.
Hi, doing well, thanks. Good to be here.
Joey, do you want to say a few words about yourself?
Certainly. So my name is Joe Brown. I'm in the middle of the U.S. I'm the Director of Strategy for North America here at CyberMDX.
Great. Thanks for these words. And same about you, David.
Yeah, really briefly, currently serve as the Director of Healthcare Experiences with the Industry Experiences team within Microsoft Azure. And myself and my team work directly with healthcare partners to help them with Azure Marketplace and go-to-market activities.
Okay. So we have seen a significant impact to healthcare's delivery organization, operational efficiency during this pandemic. What has meant for CyberMDX?
Certainly. Oh yeah, we're all bearing the weight of the global pandemic. The healthcare system is struggling with the medical surge and runs on vital equipment, runs on supplies. It's been pretty tough, and that's just at the operational level. I believe I had a colleague of mine, a good friend of mine. His name's Amir Vashkover, and I wrote down because he summed it up just perfectly. And I want to kind of quote him, if I may. And that's the HDO's health delivery organizations seen an increase in cybercrime, threatening their very efficiency, safety, and security. Now, those are all three very important words in this organization. So we're all seeing those same challenges. We witnessed an operational shift, like reduced staff. Oh my gosh, and I was in a ER over the weekend, so I got to see it up front. But reduced staff, undermanaged assets, or unmanaged assets. They could be anywhere. They've been chasing around, and it's just driving the move to really get in front of it. Over the course of time.
Sure. And you talk a little bit about cybersecurity in the medical fields. And when we are talking about IoT, security should be one of the top priorities. I heard a few months ago this story about casino that got hacked because actually hackers went through first a hack into a fish tank. And because they gain access to these fish tanks, then they can open up on the network and get access to other resources. So how has this pandemic changed the landscape of an increased need for security in this medical field?
Certainly, yeah. We're all very in the IoT space. We're all very familiar with that event with the fish tank. And what the attackers did, and this is going to be kind of germane as we talk about it on the medical side, is the attackers used an opening in the fish tank management system that handled the saline and the salt water and whatnot, and they used that to pivot to more important types of systems. The same thing is true with our side. And when I say our side, the IoT side and the IOMT for the Internet of Medical Things. Again, with these assets, these devices being unmanaged and really kind of untracked, they leave a vulnerability open, and we do see attackers that are actually running those types of attacks against those systems to gain access anywhere within an organization. Now, over the weekend or just last week, unfortunately, we had two very important activities that we saw. One was ransomware and its impact on the medical facility. The medical facility that was attacked in this case happened to be attached to a university in Europe. And in that university, they were able to pivot into the actual medical building, where the actual hospital was, and the ransomware took place. Took hold. And the interesting thing is it got on critical systems. Once it got on critical systems, the hospital was no longer able to bring in patients. So unfortunately, one patient was turned away, sent to a different facility. And that patient was the first fatality that we could attribute, albeit indirectly, to ransomware. Another thing that I would talk about is on cyber espionage. This is more, I guess, the more interesting one. It's less impactful because you can't really see it. But what we're discovering, or what we're finding, is we'll have large attackers or attack groups, if you will, that are really interested in a lot of the research, especially today with our pandemic and how we're trying to get in front of that with research for how does it spread, and more to the point, how do we stop it? Well, if anybody can get a shortcut, and if their ethics might not be quite as on the level, why not find out what other folks are doing? So we are actually seeing activities in that space that what they will do is they'll discover the information. They will validate that it's important and germane for their, for what they want to pull out, and then they will exfiltrate that from the organization itself.
Yeah, and definitely it's a topic that we will see more and more development in the future due to, in part, the growth of the IoT ecosystem. I think we will have to come up with these issues and to find solutions for a long time. Let's switch gear. CyberMDX is also a part of a program here on Microsoft called Microsoft for Startups. It's basically a program that helps startups to build solutions, but also to sell solutions with Microsoft. What would you tell to founders who are out there about your experience in the Microsoft for Startup program?
Certainly. Gosh, for us as a startup, talk about exposure. Our routes to the customers that we need to be focused on. So, for instance, our clinicians, our health delivery organizations, they're already there within Microsoft. So once they discover their need and we're able to interface them and show, here's how we can help them, the ease of making that transaction for purchasing, it just becomes very simple for the customer, very simple for Microsoft and CyberMDX. Add that to the fact that we've got strategic integrations within Microsoft Azure itself, plus our partners, our fellow partners in this space. This really allows us to provide, utilize that ecosystem that Microsoft has and really dial in and provide a full solution set to our joint clients, customers, and even managed service providers. We've had a lot of help with those folks.
And that's great to hear. And I wonder if David has a comment about Microsoft for Startup, but from the Microsoft side of things.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really a fantastic program for all kinds of startups, and it's great to have CyberMDX a part of it. There's really two key things we find that startups look for in the program. One is access to technology, and the other one is access to customers. So on the technology side, it's Microsoft for Startups is bringing access to Azure Cloud first and foremost. Powerful tools include Visual Studio Enterprise, GitHub Enterprise, architecture design sessions, and enterprise level technical support are some of the benefits on the technical side. And then on the business side, it's all about access to customers, right? Business and sales acceleration. And Microsoft for Startups provides go-to-market resources, dedicated success manager, and Microsoft sellers worldwide are paid to sell the startup solutions into their enterprise accounts. So fantastic benefits. And there's a whole bunch more information on this program. You can find out more at startups.microsoft.com.
Yeah, I think it's one of the differentiators of the Microsoft for Startups program. It's not only a technology program, but it's also a sales acceleration program as well. Last question for you, Joey. What's next for CyberMDX Technologies?
Yeah, sure. So we're always looking to develop and create more and better, more effective ways to enable our customers to implement their operational efficiencies while continuously improving their security. And that's always been our motto: is you never smear security on, you bake it in, and then that becomes part of the operations. This is a smart way to do it. Our cyber analysts are diligently researching, these ever-evolving threats. We're even discovering many. We've posted a few of ourselves through responsible disclosure. We're finding vulnerabilities ourselves and working with other teams, and we're all being on the same team here, and developing these technical and operational mitigation strategies with what we learn. Second thing I would bring up is it's really led us to operationalize our cyber threat intelligence, or CTI as we call it. So we'll continue to enhance our threat intel as we discover more. The more visibility we get, of course, the more context we get around actors, attackers, and what have you. And then the idea is especially if we interface with some of our strategic partners within Azure, this is going to add to our presence. It's going to be a direct connection. We'll be able to pull that information and provide information, more of a threat information for them, and give you a complete situational awareness. Now, this is going to be full IoT, IOMT, so that's Internet of Medical Things, medical devices across the across the enterprise or across the hospital system. And in the, not just the IoT, but we also do the enterprise system context. So we'll be dialing in with those. Those are going to be critical to everybody's success. Last thing I'll say is that we've been expanding our partnerships with standards organizations such as MITRE and NIST on the cyber side, and as well as complementary technology partners, both security, so those like our fellow members of MISA, the Microsoft Intelligent Security Association, and other operational ones that are more synergistic, that provide more synergistic experiences for our HDOs.
Well, thank you, Joey and David, for all this information. If you want to learn more about Microsoft for Startups or even about IoT security, head over to startups.microsoft.com. Thanks for being with us today with Ignite attendees, Joey and David, and see you next. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Jaap Brasser, and this